Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Hello, Favor. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mary. Good afternoon, Niyi. So, we're gonna give about a minute or two for other people to join us, and once they join us, then we can start. Buki, good afternoon. So if anyone can tell me how their week went, what was the one thing you did from self-regulation last week for those of you that were here last week? Hello, Isibo. Got that right. Okay. Guys, share with me one thing that you took home from last week class that you applied during your week. Good afternoon. Thank you so much, Yemi. Good afternoon. So, guys, if you could share with me, for those of you that were in the class last week, the one thing you took from self-regulation that you applied that worked for you, from the lessons last week, what did you take out of it and what did you apply? Okay, Yemi. Oh, you worked on the act of meditation. That's really beautiful. How did you find it? Did you find it interesting? Were you able to concentrate? Good afternoon, Sunny. Good afternoon, Rose. Okay, well, I'm gonna give it another 1 minute and then we can kick off. Oh, that's good, Mary. That's really good. Well done. It's good to know that we're putting what we're learning into practice. That's really good. Victoria, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I hope we're all motivated because that's what we're going to be that's what we're going to be learning today. Some of us could be down, some of us could have things that we need to concentrate, that we need to be motivated with. If you've got any of that, don't worry, you're in the right place today, because that's we're going to be talking about motivation. We're going to be motivating each other today, so it's motivation all the way today. Oh, wow. Oh, that's really good. You were able to work on your anger and it's getting better. Oh, fantastic. That's really good. It's really, really good. So whenever you just feel angry, just take a breather. Try to evaluate why you're angry. Take a step back before you respond to it. That's really good. I'm happy. Fantastic. Oh, Yemi, that's good. The important thing is to take a step. If you can't run, like we said last week, jog. You can't jog, work, you can't work, crawl, so long as you're moving. Good afternoon, Felicia. Fantastic. It's good that you're looking at things that you can do on your free time. That's really, really, really good. Okay, we've given people 5 minutes to join us, so I'm gonna head on straight now for the week. So I'm just going to share my screen here so that we can get on to it. Okay, again, we're here to, this is the third week of emotional intelligence development, and we're going to be working on self-motivation today. So we all know what emotional intelligence is at this stage now. Emotional intelligence is the ability to understand and manage your own emotions and those of the people around you. At the start of the class, 3 weeks ago, we said we were going to be training ourselves on the 5 key elements. We've now done self-awareness. I'm sure everybody knows what self-awareness is now, and we are all practicing it. And last week, we did self-regulation, which was an interesting class as well. And I'm glad to see that a lot of people had learned and people are actually practicing, what we have learned from last week. This week is a side drum rolling. We're going to be doing motivation this week. We're going to learn how to motivate ourselves and how to also carry that lessons that we've learned, that skills, and use it in the classroom and see how we motivate our colleagues and the students that we have as well. So just to recap on self-regulation, we've had discussion just there before we started now, and I'm sure at this stage we all know what self-regulation is the ability to monitor and manage your energy state, your emotional thoughts and your behavior in a way that are acceptable and produce positive results such as well-being, loving relationship, and learning. Most especially emotional self-regulation refers to the ability to manage disruptive emotions and impulses. So I'm glad that we've learned, and we learned what the circle of self and regulation was. It is, you plan, you set goals, and you lay out strategies. You use the strategy that you've laid out, you monitor your performance, and then you reflect on the performance, and then you redo it again as a cycle, and every time you do it, you get better, and then you learn more. So for today, we are doing self-motivation. So guys, if you can tell me what, in your own opinion, what motivation is, self-motivation is to you. What is self-motivation? I'll give you a few seconds now. Let's see what we think that self-motivation is to us. It would be differ for everyone. What my self-motivation is might be different from what the next person's self-motivation is. So it would be really interesting to see what we come up with as what our self-motivations are. What motivates you? What gets you up from bed in the morning? What gets you to do what you're doing? What even got you up from bed and got you prepared to be in this class this afternoon? What is it for you? What motivates me is the fear of failure, the fear of not doing anything. That's my motivation. Like, I like to get up and go out. Just get up, do something. Just be busy, knowing that I can help myself and help other people. That is what motivates me. Being able to impact other people's life, that's what motivates me. Being able to help people develop their ideas and turn them into businesses and turn them into reality for them, that's what motivates me. What motivates me is knowing that I can, develop myself enough and be able to develop other people to create a new generation, a better generation from the one we have now. That's what motivates me. So tell me, what motivates you? What is motivation to you? Is it, does success motivate you? Do you have to set a goal to be motivated? In fact, what even motivates you to set the goals in the first place? So the definition of motivation is what pushes us to achieve our goals, feel more fulfilled, and improve our overall quality of life. Everybody dream big, everybody want to be successful, everybody want to do that thing that we we don't think we can do. Or you see someone, for some of us, it's other people that motivate us, from what motivates you. Is he someone, your idol, someone you look up to? Or have you paused for a minute and imagine 10 years from now, what do you want to be? Because sometimes it's actually good to picture yourself, picture yourself 5 years from today, picture yourself 3 years from today, and make that your goal. And then when you dream big. you know what do you want from life? What do you want from your career? What do you want from this new friendship, this relationship, this, you know, program, this organization that you're getting yourself involved in? What do you want? Once you know what you want, create a picture, the picture of what you want. You know, see and feel the desire stage, like, where do I want to get to? What for me would be the end goal? Okay, it could be that I want to, someday become a principal and I'm a teacher now. Becoming a principal or owning your school would be the end goal for this. How do you now get there? That is where the motivation come in. What are the things that will get you there? Would it be a situation where you have to read about people that started from the scratch and they've gotten there, and the way they got there? I mean, everybody's journey is going to be different. So if you know now that, okay, in the next 10 years, I'm looking to own my school, I'm looking to be a principal, that is a picture that you can pen. It's always good to keep the diary. The diary we talked about at the very start that we should have. Write this goal in it. Write what you want to become in the next 3 years, in the next 5 years, and then begin to now look, what do I need to do to get there? Which is now setting your short-term goals. Okay, if I'm looking to become a principal in the next 10 years, what are the qualifications that I need? What are the skill sets that I need? What are the trainings that need to be in place? What are the personal development that I need to have? Do I need to take management classes? Do I need to take leadership classes? Do I already have leadership skills? How do I learn them? Once you now know, you've done your research on how to go about it, then do it. Just start to learn. Just start to do them one step at a time. Set the goals for yourself. Think positively about it, because it is very, very vital to plan. You plan. Once you plan, you look at the support systems that are around you, and then see how they can help you to, achieve this goal. So, but for today, our focus area would be personal drive to achieve, personal drive to achieve this goal that you have. Commitment to your goal. When you set your goal, how do you stay committed to it? Initiative. How do you get up and go? How do you stand out from the crowd? How do you do that thing that other people are afraid to do? Optimism and resilience. How do you stay optimistic? How do you keep your energy level full? For me, I see half full rather than seeing the glass half empty. Is that the approach you want to take? Or what are the other things that work for you? Resilient. How do you keep on going no matter what? How do you stay put? Okay, I have an appointment, I have an interview, I have a class to take. It had rained heavily now. How do I find my way around it? My car had breakdown on my way. Should I just get an Uber? Okay, Uber is not forthcoming for those that lives in Nigeria or countries where you have bikes, or other form of transportation. Get it. Get into public transport. That is resilient. That is saying, okay, these are the trouble. How do I suppress this trouble? How do I stay focused and move? And then obviously we will now look at some of the emotional, motivational and techniques that we can learn and take home as always and practice, and see how we develop, so that next week we're able to as well evaluate how far we are putting what we learned today into practice. So why self-motivation is important? Why is it even important? Why should I be motivated? First, why should I even motivate myself in the first place? When there is motivation, there is initiative and direction, courage, energy, and the perseverance to follow your goal. That's what it is. When you are motivated, you can do more. When you are motivated, you can become anything. You can do anything that you want to do in life. And then for teachers now, when you motivate your student, you are upping their level of learning, their effort of learning when you motivate your student. When you motivate them, you're engaging with them, you're spending more time engaged with them in learning. It will help them learn more. It will direct and guide you on their you be able it would motivate it would direct you. When you're motivating students, you can actually guide them towards a better way of learning, their learning behavior, their learning pattern. You can help them develop it. Once you are motivating them, it leads to creativity, exploration, and innovation. We all know that when people are motivated, new idea comes in. People do things that ordinarily they would not be able to do. It is very, very vital. The difference between someone who's motivated and someone who is not is someone who's motivated would just keep going. When you motivate a student, even when the student is not really doing much, even when they are not really doing they are not their learning pace is different, it's slow, or it's differ from other students. But when you keep motivating them, it gives them the courage to keep going. It helps learners to self-evaluate and self assess themselves. And it also help you as a teacher, because when you're motivating the student, what normally happens is when you motivate people that you're teaching, they know that every time you come into the classroom, everything is brightened up, and the mood is good. So no matter what is going on in your own homes, you'll be looking forward to going to class. Because to be honest with you, when a teacher who is normally very motivated with high energy comes into a classroom, and then that energy had dropped, you'd be so surprised that the students would actually ask, are you okay? Because I've had situations where I'm currently doing assessments, an organization assessment. So I'm assessing the staffs there. And then there are times where I would go in, I'm all happy, saying, oh, hello, how are you? Your hair is beautiful. I would always give my compliments so that they feel comfortable. And then I noticed that there are times where I'm just really down. It might just be from maybe I didn't sleep properly or something, other personal stuff are going on with me. And when I go in, I've had times where someone came to me, a very lovely lady. She was like, oh, hi, Brandy. How are you today, Miss Brandy? I'm like, I'm good. No, you don't look good today. What's going on? I said, oh, I'm just a little bit down. And she was like, is there anything I can, okay, you know what? I'm going to get you a drink. What do you want? Do you want soft drink? Do you want that? She tried to talk to me, and before you knew what was happening, I rubbed off that motivation, and my day just got brightened up. And that's just from her, passing back the energy that I normally bring in every time I go to work. So it's very good to have this energy, to bring this energy level. It's very, very important, because when you keep bringing it in, there are times where you don't have it in you, and those that you have given it to are able to, share what you have taught them with you. And you see that there is a balance. So you're benefiting from it, the students are equally benefiting from it. So personal drive to achieving your goals. you know Personal drive. For me, what are your own personal drive? What drives you? you know for you, if someone asks you now, or if you sit back and you're thinking, what drives you? What gets you going? What gets you wake up in the morning? What is that drive? you know it could be the fear of having nothing. It could be the fear of wanting to become great in life. It could be the ambition of becoming the next president in your organization, or even the next president of your country, or the next governor of your state, or the next GM of your school. What is it that drives you? It is also worth it to think about it in terms of mindset. I believe so much in mindset. I believe so much in what it's in your mind. What is mindset? Is your mental attitude that determines how you would, interpret and respond to situations. Why is mindset important? The difference between success and failure is as simple as having a different perspective on intelligence. Why should educators understand mindset? Your daily interaction with your student influence and change your student mindset. Like I keep saying, I've said this many times, your energy, the students are going to tap from it. And there are two mindsets. There's a fixed mindset and then there's a growth mindset. I remember at the very start of this course, the very first week, I remember Mr. Jide Ajayi talking about the two type of mindsets that we have: the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. So your mindset, we let's focus on the growth mindset first. When you have a growth mindset, failure is failure is an opportunity to grow. I mentioned it I think it was actually last week when I said failing forward. Okay, sometimes people see failure as, I don't know anything, it means I can't do anything. No, 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 because for every time you fail, you learn something. I remember saying, where other people see problems, I see opportunity. Failure is always an opportunity to learn new things, whether you like it or not. When you fail at something, you are forced to want to think. This is when you have a growth mindset. When you fail at something, you're going to want to think, what should I have done differently? What should I have done better? Which means that the next time now that you're having a go at that thing, you have not learned. Growth mindset is, I can learn to do anything I want. And the difference between you and any successful person in this life, the core difference is knowing that I can do anything that I want to do. Because once you tell yourself every day, you wake up, and because you can develop your growth mindset. If you don't have it, you can actually develop a new mindset. It is very very possible, because everything is possible once you can begin to think that I can learn to do anything. You actually can. Challenges help you grow. So when things are challenging, that's when you grow. For me, I always tell people, when companies or when organization approach me for work, I always tell them, if it's not challenging, it's not worth my time. Because if I'm not going to learn, if I'm not going to grow, regardless of what I'm being paid to do it, it's not worth my time. Because for me, remember last week we talked about what our values are. My core value is the ability to grow. It's to learn. Is to be able to, and I think I excel more in challenges, because it allows me to think. It turns on the creative side of me. It helps me to start thinking, thinking outside the box when others are thinking within the box, or thinking within the box when others are thinking outside the box. When something is challenging, you start to look at other measures, other ways to, do things. It's also your effort and your attitude, your determination, your ability, your being able to take feedback, constructive criticism or feedback, having the ability, liking to try new things. You see, most times we are very quick to say, oh, I can't do it, I don't like that. Have you tried? Remember the first week when we talked about self-awareness? We spoke about trying new things. I'm sure now that this is week 3, I'm sure a lot of us have tried new things, and we've actually seen that the things that we thought that we cannot do, now that we've tried, there are actually some of them that we cannot do. When you have a fixed mindset, you see failure as your limited ability. Okay, and when you don't achieve something, or when you try something, it didn't work once, you don't try again. You just go, yeah, that's it, it's not for me. I'm either good at it, or I'm not good. Your abilities to do stuff, you just go. You see, some people are bent on their way. When you're dealing with a fixed mindset person, they tell you that this is how this is done. They are never open to trying something new way, which is innovation. Okay, when you're talking to people with fixed mindset, like it can be very very draining to work with people that have a fixed mindset. Very draining, because when you're trying to bring in something new, they don't like change. Naturally, as human, a lot of us are very not acceptive of change in the first place. But when you now have a fixed mindset, it's even harder, because when you're dealing with people that have a growth mindset, it's easier to, talk to them, because they always want to grow, they like challenges, they want to learn new things, you easily get their buy-in on anything. But when you are dealing with people with fixed mindset, it is very, very difficult to, get their buy-in in anything. It makes things really hard. They get frustrated, they give up on time, they get sick, they stick to what they know. They don't like changes. They just see whatever they think their potentials are and what their potentials are. Some of them, you hear people, they tell you they've been working. I remember doing assessment on the project I'm working on here at the company that I'm helping to, do their organization restructure and all that. And you interview, when you're assessing some people, some of them, you see the way they speak, you could tell that they really, really want to change. They want to be trained, they want to learn, so they can improve in their company, they can improve in their career. But you see others that are like, oh, but that's how we do it. Why do we want to change now? Why fix it if it's not broken? But this is the norm now. Why are you changing it? And you're wondering, don't you want to grow? So when you are dealing with people with fixed mindset, when you're dealing with students with fixed mindset, how do you get them to begin to change it? Is preaching to them that there is a third mindset. There's a growth mindset, there's a fixed mindset, and then there is the new mindset. When you introduce them to the new mindset, which is obviously the growth mindset, it's the development of the growth mindset. Because when they have the new mindset, they will get new results. So when you're dealing with someone that have fixed mindset, try to find out what they are doing, why it's not. Let them complain to you. Listen to them as if, because it's very good, very, very good to make sure that you listen to them, because people with fixed mindset have the time, they want to be heard. Keyword. So take a step back. Just even when you know that what they are saying may not be, what you believe in, but just know that we all have different perspective. Some people see glasses half full and some see it half empty. Some people see problems, other people see opportunity. So know that. So when they are telling you this is it, this is not working, that's that's the other. That is an opportunity as a teacher to be able to introduce the new mindset, which is, can you pause for a minute and leave all of these limitations? Assume that there were no limitation. Assuming these limitations were not there, would you have liked to do this? If you knew how to do this better, would you have tried? They go, yes. Once you get their attention on that, yes, then you have the avenue to teach them the new mindset, which is, okay, let's teach you how to do this so you can arrive at this. Sell this big dream to them. Let them tell you what their limitations are, and then make them understand that if you didn't have all these limitations, would you have loved this? Once they give you the thumbs up, that's a good time to introduce the new mindset, because then they can see that with that new mindset, they will begin to get new results. And that's how people transition from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. Commitment to goals. If you aim at nothing, it is easy to achieve it. Because if you don't have a goal, if you are saying, I'm just going to, yeah, they're going to, because you're shooting at space. Imagine you, for instance, your goal was to, sit at home and do nothing. Of course, you can easily achieve that. You just have to sit at home and do nothing. Commitment is the glue that binds you to your goal. And with that glue that holds you to your goal, you achieve success. So when you're setting a goal, I always tell people, no goals are too high. Where there is a problem is where you set goals and you don't now put a planning in place. Set a goal. You want to become whatever it is you want to become, or whatever you want to build, anything. It's a goal. Write your goals down. Once you've written your goals down, take your time to research how to achieve these things. Okay, if I'm looking to become a principal of my school, if I'm looking to set up my own school, own my own school, how had people owned their own schools? What are the things that they did? What are the certification? What are the core things that I would need in order to achieve this? It is very vital. Once you write them, don't even think of the how. first of all, think of the what. You know, ask yourself the goals that you've set. Why do you want to become that thing? Why do you want to achieve that goal? Why do you want to become a professional at that field? Why do you want to change that career? Why do you want to introduce that new learning pattern into your current school where you are teaching? Why do you want to engage with the students differently? The whys. Once you understand the whys, once you have identified the whys, what you would not do then is now the how. You think, you start, you think, you analyze what you're trying to do, you plan, you try it, you do it. If you fail at it, you do it again, you fail again, you get up, you evaluate why you failed, and you keep on going. That is how you achieve success. You do not stop. No matter what, you just keep going. Failure is not an option. Even if you are failing, that is why I said try it. If you fail, do it again. You're failing forward. You're learning. You are knowing now that, okay, the way I did it now is not the way I would have done it. I would have done it differently. Samples of these are, I remember when I was just starting out and I set up my company in 2013. I had this big vision. I knew exactly what I was going to do. I went through it the right way. I went by the book. I did everything. And then 6 months down the line, the thing started crumbling, because I had built my business around people. I have built my business around people. I was doing management, I was doing artist management, production management, so I needed artists, in order to be able to now do production and produce them and present them and then, promote them. I needed them. So I remember one time in 2013, 2014, we were on set and an artist walked out on me on set. And the investment that I had put into it, I watched it crash because they had not shown up. The artist walked out on me. The costumier, the lady who was in charge of bringing in the models, she did not show up on time, and she had promised over 25 models and only 4 showed up. While I was trying to figure out, okay, how do I manage these 4 people that I have? The artist fell out with the camera guy or something happened on set and the show just didn't go on. So I had lost money in that moment. I was thinking, what am I supposed to do now? So instead of, going and saying, what, this is not going to work, I had to go back to my drawing board and ask myself, why did I set up a management company, artist management company? Why? In the first place. And then I just realized that, I set it up because Africans were not better represented in the Western world. In Ireland, where I live at the time, they weren't better represented. And I did my research and I found out that, okay, it's because there's no company that understands them, that knows how to deal with them. But it let me down now. What do I do? What's really my goal? My goal was really to showcase Africans in a better light. So now that I have tried this angle has not worked. What is the next angle to try? And I did state of the art, an infusion of Irish and Africans to create a new music genre. Because then I'm like, okay, maybe because the Africans at the time, they were not the ones in the music industry, they were not integrating the Irish music industry properly. So I did that, and then we did an industry net, and then people came, and then what I wanted to achieve, which is the integration, which is showcase Africa. And I said, okay, maybe if I do it from these other end, because these people are not started this way or other thing, because the goal for me was to showcase Africans, artists in Ireland and back in their state of their country of origin. So I looked for other ways to do that, and I was able to achieve my goal in that project. And as I evolved, I moved into project management, and I just kept growing. But every time I tried something, it didn't mean that I made it the first time. I always had to do it again, evaluate why I had failed. That's called failing forward. So the next time I was going to do it, I would plan it better. I would plan it bigger. I'll stay committed to the goal, and I will do it better. And even if something failed in the next step again, more you go, the higher you get, the more you work, the more you research how to, because in all of these I have learned along the way as I move. When people now I do consultancy, so when people reach out to me and say, "Oh, I'm trying to do a business plan," or something, I go, "Oh yeah, I can actually do that. I've got templates for that." "Oh, I'm trying to do this event, and this event, I'm planning an event." "Oh, sure, I can actually help you, give you templates or whatever it is you need to do that." "Oh, I'm trying to connect with this person." "Oh, when I did my stuff, I used LinkedIn, I did this, I did that, try that." I now know, because every time I thought I failed forward anyway, and I learned. There were lessons learned along the way. I stayed committed to what I wanted to do, and I'm here today doing what I'm doing. I'm still growing, still developing, still failing forward. But the key thing is, I am committed to my goal, and I'm achieving them as I move along because I'm not afraid to fail forward. Initiative, initiative, the ability to, take advantage of opportunities where they occur. This is fun. This is the simplest thing, but it can also be the most dangerous thing to do, because it is very, very vital first to have the courage to do it. Courage is overcoming the fear of the unknown, in new opportunities. You have to know that taking initiative means not fitting in. Because if you're fitting in, you're not going to do that. If everybody, especially in the government sector, there is always that, in Africa now, in Nigeria, which I'm very conversant with because of the last project the project I'm currently working on here. I'm actually in Nigeria at the moment. What I noticed while I was doing, assessment of the organization that I'm, the government organization that I'm actually revamping at the moment, when I was doing the assessment, there were always these government worker. I always got that a lot. Government worker, and then you tell them, you're trying to find out why things are not working. What they tell you, hey, what are we supposed to do now? The GM had not said, they have not taught us, and then you notice, and then you see some of them, when I assess them, the ones that seem to be having problem with the entire management staff are the ones that dare to change. They were the ones that dare to take up an initiative. They were the ones that dare to try out new things. Because when I was assessing them, you hear everybody say, "Oh, that person, she feels like this, she does this, she does that." There was a lady in particular that, nobody at department, nobody seemed to say anything good about her. It was so bad that I had a interview when I was doing self-assessment, because I did unit by unit. When our unit came, she wasn't even there. So I kept saying, where is Mrs. A? For the sake of this lecture, I was like, where is Mrs. A? And I was told that, oh, we told you she never comes. We've called her. She had not shown up. I'm like, can I have a number? So they gave me a number, and I rang her on the phone and said, Madam, you're supposed to be here. No, I rang her on the phone. Sorry. I rang her on the phone, and she didn't pick. So in my head, I'm like, why is this person not coming to work? And why is she not picking? So luckily, after I had finished the assessment meeting with our unit, the next person that came in, as she walked in, "Hi, good afternoon, ma. What's your name, madam?" She said, "I'm Mrs. A." I'm like, I have called you. And she was like, no, ma'am, I have been sitting outside. And the luck she had was, I actually saw her at the early hours of the morning when I had come into my office. But I didn't know who she was. I even said hello to her and went in. What had happened is, a department did not tell her. They just told her that the new HR person is doing assessment, and, everybody's being assessed. And then she came. What was so beautiful to see is, she was the only one among all of them that came for that assessment. She was the only one that had her programs, what she does in her organization. She was the only one that had it all laid out. She had a write-up of her duties. She had when she did what she does, how she does it. No other person did it. So even though I have been told that she wasn't coming in, she had proof. She had everything well laid out. She knew what she was doing. When I assessed her, she was brilliant. So I started wondering, what is the problem? And I just realized that in our entire unit, she was the most put together person in them. So she was the best in them. So taking an initiative, especially in the government sector in this part of the world, Nigeria, it is very hard. Your colleagues are going to not like you because you are now giving you're doing what you shouldn't do. You're not fitting in the norm. You're trying to make things better, and they are not about that life. They just want their salaries when months end, except for the few exceptional good ones like Mrs. A. But what it means when you stand out is no matter what, you will be spotted out. Even when everybody have not so nice things to say about you, when they have that problem and you're the one that always come up with this new initiative to solve it, they don't like you, but they will call you in that meeting. I remember there's another fantastic lady as well. We'll call her Mrs. B. She was brilliant. She knew how to take minutes. She knew everything. She understands. She understands how to manage that organization. She knew what she was doing. And again, regardless of whether or not the heads of the department liked her, because she was good at what she does, she always brought on the new things. She always knew how to, do the risk management. She always knew how to solve problems. They called her anyway. She ended up in these meetings anyway because when they tried to get someone else to do it, that person couldn't do it. She knew how to do it better. She does it better. So when you're taking initiative, make sure it's a calculated one. Make sure know that there are people who are not gonna like it. There are people your boss might not even like it, but because it adds value to your organization where you work, because it adds value to the life of the students that you are teaching, they would not be able to do without you. I always tell people when you walk into a room, it's okay not to remember anybody, but make sure you are not forgotten. That is the key. So when you are working with young persons, make sure they remember you. And it's not your responsibility to choose what you want to be remembered for. Are you the one that starts off the new initiative in school, maybe student meeting, or are you the one that will start the extracurriculum class? Are you the one that will start the career guidance class in school? Start up a new initiative, put a proposal together, explain why it would work, start it slowly with your students in your class. Let other students and other teachers see how the students are doing, your student, when they go into other classes. See how they are doing well. Let it rub off. People would ask and people would eventually support it. Good risk management, identify the right opportunity, to consider and make sure that they have the appropriate level of risk. So when you are trying out a new initiative, like I said, it's very vital to fail forward. So when you're now working in an organization where you're not the boss, you are a staff, always be very calculative. That's where your SWOT analysis comes in. For everything that you want to do, okay, I'm trying to introduce this to the crash, or I'm trying to introduce this meditation class to the students, whatever it is, do the pros and the cons. Why is this good? Write it all out. Be very honest with yourself. Why would this not work? Write it all out. If I do this, what are the possible step backs? What are the possible fallouts that may come from this? Be very frank with yourself. Do your SWOT analysis. Once you've done it, once the good side of it outweighs the bad side of it, then you've done a proper risk, management. You've done it. And then if the bad side outweighs the good side, again, evaluate again. Why does the bad side outweigh the good? Talk to other people, your colleagues, your friends, your spouse. Oh, honey, I'm thinking of this. What do you think of it? Have those conversations. Let other people see what these ideas, this new initiative is. And then people would also encourage you and guide you. Hear hard people, let people help you even further develop it. I always tell people, when you are so afraid that your idea, if you share it with anybody, they are going to steal it, then it's not good enough. For me, every time I come up, because I'm an entrepreneur as well, every time I come up with a new business idea or a new initiative, I always discuss it. I'm very quick to share it with the world. When I share it, what typically happens is you see some people. I also know people that are very good at copying and taking people's idea and running with it. So I keep an eye open. So when you take the idea, what I do is, because one thing that people intend to forget, when an idea is yours, when you are the inventor, the creator of an idea, that idea you see 20 years. Anybody that is going to steal it from you or copy it only sees 5 years. They can't even see beyond it because it's your idea. So the more you think about it, the more it further develops in your head. You're growing. And people that you're going to share it with, when you share it with them today, you probably just have the basis. Tomorrow, that would have developed. So when that idea is good, people are going to want to try it. People are going to want to run and go and do it. I have seen it firsthand. I remember when I designed African Creative Summit. You know, I designed it, I did a press conference on it, and before I knew what was happening, African Creative Summit, Lagos Creative Summit, different summits started coming out. It was good. I realized then that, oh, yes, it's a good initiative because people are keen into it and people are now doing different versions of it. What kept what I have in mind, what I'm doing unique, it's the fact that I came up with it. So I saw where it was going and I'm constantly developing it and I know where I'm taking it to. I look 20 years and I look back and say, okay, these are the things I want to smile at. So when you are putting an initiative, when you have an idea, you want to start up an initiative, you want to create something, you want to do something different, be quick to share. Let people do your, in fact, let people even do your SWOT for you. Let people go and help you test the water. In fact, just share it. When people take your idea and run with it, it's okay. Keep an eye, see how what they've shared of you, the little you shared with them, see how well they run with it. It helps you very quickly to understand if this would fly or if it would not fly. So it's good to take good risk management, being resilient and being optimistic. You know, I started that from the start of this. So, being resilient, the ability to bounce back after a setback or keep positive in the face of challenges. Exactly. Once you fail forward, which is what I have been stressing, fail forward, keep going. You can see the diagram that's used here. There are forces pulling him back. He has that interview that he must get to. So no matter what, he's even taking 2 steps at some point at a time because he needs to get there. So it's your ability to keep going. Thoughts create feelings. Feelings create behavior. Behavior reinforces your thoughts. Just keep going. Try new things. Keep going. When that thing is hard, keep pushing. Just keep going. Don't stop. Being optimistic. Instead of thinking you can't do it, think can do. You know, there's something I do all the time. When I get a phone call and I'm asked, because I do project management, I'm an entrepreneur and all that. When I get a phone call and I'm asked, oh, Brancy, does your company do the first thing I say is yes. Oh, Brancy, can you do? It's always a yes. I say the yes, and then I go back and say how. Is this possible? Yes. And then I go and find the how can I do it? Okay, I don't have the skills in this. Who are the people that have the skills in this? So again, if you have an initiative, an idea that you think would help your classroom, would help the school at large, now you already have this idea. You may not even know how to execute it. Because you have this idea, don't go, oh, I'm not going to do it because I cannot do this or because that is impossible. No, this is where you now draw people in. This is where you now call people. This is where you now go, okay, who are the people that can do this, that? How do I partner? How do I do a collaboration with them? How do I engage them? How do I partner with them to be able to, do this or do that and all that? And that is how you excel. That is how you move forward. It's seeing the cup half full instead of half empty. Is having a beautiful, colorful brolly in the midst of darkness where everywhere is raining, is knowing that after the rain there is a beautiful rainbow that comes out. It's just being positive, really thinking, okay, this is not working. Yeah, it's not working. Why is it not working? It would work anyway if we tweak it. Why don't we try something like this that might work? Or, oh, let me call Franca and figure out what Franca would know, or how Franca can help me do this, or let me call Janet or whoever. Have those core people that you motivate sometimes. Sometimes they also motivate you. And then you will see that once you start to think positively, once you start to look at the bright side of things just begin to align for you. And you would attract people. Good people start coming to you because when they are down, they know that there's that one person that they would call that will see the light in the midst of this dark. They know that there is that you, that's, Juliet, that's, Stephen, that's Gabriel, that's Yemi, that they would call, that would be able to, give them, a positive outlook, a way forward, and then you become those people's source of motivation while you're motivating yourself. And again, if a student failed an exam and they are saying they can't do it, you can, encourage them, tell them it's okay that you failed. But you see, when you failed the last time you failed this exam, or the last time you didn't pass this test, you actually didn't pass it, you got 20 marks out of 100. But look, this time, yeah, you've not passed it, but you've actually gotten 35. So you're going forward, which means that if you take the exam, if you study a bit harder again and take the exams, you're going to probably get 50 or even more. Half full glasses are best. They are way better than the half empty glasses. So motivational techniques, some of the tips that you can use in motivating your student, visual behavior, tracking charts, look at the way they behave, look at what helps them, what motivates them, and see how you can help them further develop that, and they would grow. Allow students to earn work free time, speech section and all that. So again, it's just allowing students, so telling your student that, okay, if we can, when they're studying for exams, or when they have, as or something, you can even have games, you can even have sessions where you go, okay, if there's a textbook that they need to cover, if we are able to cover this textbook between now and now, we would have a free time in so time. We can plan a fun day where you maybe engage your parents or something, that would help them study. If in this classroom, on an average, every student got 60% and above, we will be able to do a retreat or something. What that does is the smart ones will now begin to help the not so smart ones, the ones that have a bit of challenge, to study. They start to pair themselves together so that they can learn, because they know that if we all pass collectively, then we will be able to enjoy these treats that our teacher is going to give us. That is the best motivation, because sometimes when it's a student that is also teaching another student, it's easier. Because I've often noticed that when I go for assessments, when I go and train people, when I walk in there and they see that, okay, I'm actually young as well, and I am able to draw from my real life experience, and I'm not a lot older, I'm within their age bracket as well, they easily buy in, because there's that, oh, if Bryce can do it and she's only around our age as well, we should be able to do it. That's motivation. So sometimes it's good as well to get the smart student to be able to help the trying student to further try. Allow your students, send your student to, 2 class, 3 class below them to teach them. It helps their confidence, it motivates them to do better, so that they can constantly have those opportunities to do so. And it motivates the younger students to do well, so that they can also learn, study hard, that when they are in that class, that they are being able to send to go and teach the younger student, or even at the class that they are being able to teach the other student. I can't stress hands-on. A lot of people, there are different people. Some people are visual learners. For me, I'm a visual learner. I like to see things. I like to feel things. I like to understand things. That's the way I learn better. That's the way I'm able to excel in what I do. So it is always vital to, help people use some visual aids. Some life examples are always good when you're teaching people. Put yourself in that situation so that they would understand it and they'll be able to apply it when they are experiencing that as well. And when you help them learn how to read, put them together, special lunches, rewards, student of the month or student of the week, that's a motivation. That will motivate anyone. So the best behaved student, or the cleanest student, the student that had the nicest uniform, you get student of the week sticker, or get a little trophy. Student of the week trophy, you bring it home for the week. Their parents are proud of them, they are excited, and they are going to constantly do well, so that they are able to win student of the week trophy. This will help. Other tip to motivate unmotivated student, pair work, and group work. Pair an unmotivated student with a very motivated student, they'll feed off each other. The sitting of students, again, is pairing them. It's error correction the proper way. When you're correcting an error, don't say, oh, you don't know, don't talk down on them, don't make them feel completely stupid. Don't make them think less of themselves. Just, tell them that they are failing forward. Encourage them from that perspective, and you see how it works. Role play. Sometimes be the student, let them be the teacher. It is really good. The one thing that I do in my assessment, when I'm doing organizational assessment in the HR department now, after assessing every individual, at every assessment, every interview that I do, there is always a part where I give the person I'm interviewing the opportunity to ask me any questions at all. And you see, when I do that to them, it breaks the ice in the room. You see them really happy because they get the opportunity to actually ask them how they did. And the way I respond to it as well. And they also ask me about myself. And when I tell them about myself, they see that, okay, she's just another human being like myself. So role play sometimes is very good. It helps students to be comfortable, to learn better. Again, the use of visuals, they are really fantastic. Using audio visuals for schools that have it is really fantastic. It's a good way to engage students. It's a good way for them to learn. So here are the 6 steps of ultimate motivation. Staying positive, creating goals, visualizing your success, knowing that if I do this, this is where I'm going to get to, is a good one. Keeping good company. Who are your friends? We are one of the 5 people that we hang around. If you're hanging around successful people, there's every tendency that you're going to be successful. If you hang around losers, there's every tendency that you won't do too well in life. What I always tell people, when you become the champion of your group, that's when to leave that group. When you become the best dressed of your group, that's when to move forward. When you become the number one of your friends within your circle, that's when to start to think, okay, let me get other friends. I'm not saying don't keep these friends that you have, but then get higher friends as well, so that you can constantly grow. Because when you're hanging around people that are constantly achieving greatness, that are constantly doing good things, you would have the zeal. There will be that motivation. Their success will motivate you to be successful. So always look around you, look around the companies you keep. If you feel, I'm the best in this company, start to look at other people that are better. Interact with people on LinkedIn, meet new people, learn new stuff, engage with new people, and grow. Track your success. Always remember to pat your back. When you've achieved something, you know, be happy to write it in your journal. I achieved this, no matter how small it is. It will boost you. It will give you that sense of, okay, I did this and I did it, and then you are able to want to do it again. Most importantly, remember why you started. Remember what got you to where you are. Remember that thing that motivates you, and you constantly, or remember that thing that you don't want to go back to, that is helping you, pushing you to go far, and you'll be able to go far. So our goal for this week on improving motivation in the classroom. Work on how to make, again, your journal. Start looking at writing down how to make learning fun and relevant for students. What are the new things that I can add to the learning thing that would make it more fun for the students? Write it down, and how do I even implement it? Those sort of things. Match learning to student ability. How are they good? What pattern of way do they like learning? Are they visuals learner? Are they missed? If they are missed, how do I design my learning? How do I design this lecture to suit it? And promote self-directing, self-learning. Tell them, go home, if you're able to figure this out and try it yourself, these and these are what you would get. You might be the student of the week, or whatever. Motivate them. Teach students how to enjoy learning and finding new ways to teach them. You must, when you're teaching students, see when they engage, see the topic you taught, see how you taught them that topic, how that lecture went, that got them engaging, and then try and look at new ways. If you don't know, if your students don't already enjoy your class, find out why and begin to look at ways that you can help them to enjoy your class. Assign appropriate challenges, work to help develop their resilience. How do you encourage them to keep pushing? The most important thing in all of this is, don't miss the chance for creativity. Always be creative. So now, if we have questions, these are when I take questions. Drop your questions and I'll be able to respond to it. For next week, empathy. Again, we are looking at empathy, we're looking at how to put ourselves in other people's shoes. So empathy is the ability to feel what others are feeling, what other persons are feeling. It is to experience their emotion. It is the ability to put yourself in other person's shoes in a big and a meaningful way. Okay, guys. I am back here now. I'm in Nigeria, like I said a few minutes ago. So my internet, the light went off, the internet went down. I had to switch. I apologize for that. As you can see, I'm even in a darker place now. So I'm just going to look at some of the questions, taking some of the question. Okay, how can I keep Mary said, how can I keep myself going in the midst of difficult situation that would not affect my teaching and learning processes? Yeah, I mean, for me, it can always get better from here. It can only get better from here, no matter what it is. Like, I give you an example. I'm currently in Nigeria now. I flew into Nigeria on the 20th. Okay. I was to be in Nigeria for 2 weeks, being a chief bridesmaid, and that was it. I was to be in Nigeria for 2 weeks, fly back, and then come back to do a project. When the wedding didn't even happen, we couldn't have the wedding now. The bride is still here. I'm here. It's 3 months gone now. We are in Nigeria. So instead of thinking that we're stuck in Nigeria, I figured out ways to get engaged. The bride went and said, you know what, I'm going to learn new stuff. And she's learning new stuff and she's enjoying it now. So it's always looking at your cup half full rather than half empty. So Mary, for you, it's knowing. The first thing is knowing that it can only get better from here. Once you have the attitude of it can only get better from here, things would work different no matter what. Even if you just lost someone, even if you've just had a big fight, even no matter what has happened, even if you've just lost your job, it's okay to acknowledge that you've lost your job, but just know it can only get better from now, because before this had happened, I was existing, which means that after this, I would exist, because in life, everything comes and go. So that's always my attitude. And no matter what, like I said, it's good to motivate people around you. It's good to motivate the student, because when you do, in your down times, they would be able to equally motivate you. Okay. So Jacob said, what can you do if the plans you have to motivate your learners is not approved by your school? So for
Mm,
me, you keep trying. So if you have a plan and you present it, Jacob, and they are not approving it, ask why. That's what I do. Just when someone tells me no, I always ask the why. So when they say no, this can't happen, sir, why? Or madam, why? If I went back to redo this and do that, would that? If they say no, it's good anyway. Go back and still try, retweak it, resell it, re-email it, keep emailing it. Every boss has a boss anyway. Find the right people who can talk to this person, share those ideas with them. Sometimes it's very good to find people's favorite. So if you are in an organization, you're in a school where you're not necessarily the principal's favorite, find who the principal's favorite is. And when you have great initiative, go and partner with that favorite person, with that person that that if it is this person that is presenting it, they'll key into it. So that is why it's always good to have good energy. Be friends with everybody, so that when you have that initiative that the principal might not take from you, find that person that he or she will take it from and pair with that person to run it. That always work. So what do you do when Victoria said, what do you do when the level of motivation you give is restricted by the management of where you? So for me, every little help. Every little help. To you, that motivation might not be as high. You don't have to do too much to impact on people. Oh, your uniform is cute today is enough motivation. Oh, your writing skills is nice. Start it at the barest minimum. When you understand the environment you're in, you understand the limitations that you have. Within those limitations, find what works and then impute those things that works. So that's what I would do. I would look at what works and then use it. Take baby steps. When you take baby steps, you will see the improvement on students. So once they are improving, you're able to build a case before the management to say, well, these are the little things that I've been doing, and this is how they've improved, this is how they've grown. So if given the opportunity that I can do this, that, and more, they will further develop. I'm sure every school wants their clients, which is the student parents, to patronize them. So when you go about it from that perspective, that would work. Thank you so much, Mary. Thank you so much. So, yeah, Victoria, if you become the champion at your place of work and you can no longer challenge yourself, to be honest with you, if I become the champion at what I do and I can no longer develop, that my development um, level had stopped, I would look at other options. I would look at, do I want to retain this job on a part-time base and then get other job? Do I want to further train myself? So before you resign from your job, make sure that you have assessed other level that are better, that are challenging, that you can grow more in. And then it's always good to resign politely once you have that other level that you're heading to prepared for you. Once you have done that interview, you have gotten that better job, you can always resign nicely and say, okay, I can still be coming, or I can train other people to be as good as I am while I progress. You know, that is good. You can now engage as a consultant in that firm. If you're good, you're good. They're going to need you. They're going to need you. So for you, this is where we come again with what our core values are. So if your core value is to make more money, if that's what it is for you, then you can now say, okay, you want to be paid more in order to stay or look for a better paying job. But if your core value is like mine, that development is constant care for me, it's my core value. So yeah, when I feel that I'm good at stuff, I become the best at it, the next thing to do is to, move forward from it. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate your time. My time is now up. I'm 10 minutes past my time. 9 minutes actually. So thank you guys so much. Next week would be awesome. Next week will be great. And I hope that you guys are here because we would be looking at empathy. And I can't wait to join you guys in the empathy class. So thank you very much. Thanks for your time, and see you same time next week. Thank you so much.